Namaste. Welcome to today's Love Satsang with my cat in the background again. Today's topic is main character energy. Main character energy. How do you currently perceive yourself in your own life story? I've, in the past, already dropped a little bit of these hints how to create your own life story, how to rewrite your script, how to see your entire life actually like a book or a movie, because it helps us as a human being and actually makes it also a little bit more playful for the soul to explore this life. Of course, doesn't mean that always everything is high life and ecstatic bliss, but more so that exactly like in movies, like in stories, any stories, we have not only comedy and fun and adventure, but we have also drama and melancholy, sadness, heartbreaks, everything. So really, it's your life is a movie, is a book you write, and main character is your energy, should be your energy most of the time at least. And I have chosen that topic because I feel and also notice with myself from some time that sometimes we tend to play side characters, side characters in the story of others. And actually, we always play side characters in the story of others, but the perception of ourselves should, in my opinion, always be the main character in your own story. And this is what we are contemplating about today. Whenever you have any questions, of course, you can also ask them here or further in the replay notes in the comments so that we can discuss together. That's my invitation as always. And I invite you also, as always, to first of all close your eyes for a moment. And today I would love to not only focus on your breath, but also to focus on your very center, your heart, as that space where your main character energy actually emanates from. Maybe you want to place one hand, both hands on your heart, because the heart is really connecting the sky and the earth, and also left and right, the masculine and feminine, the more subtle layers and the more denser layers. And a little bit you can see that the heart is also like the sun, and all planets in our universe, at least in our galaxy, circulate around the sun. So really anchor this light for a moment consciously. It is always there, always present. But with our conscious invitation, we make it more dominant, we make it more vibrant and felt for our human self. So you are your own sun. Everything circulates around you. Everything is a projection of yourself outward into reality. And maybe you can also notice how you feel when you make yourself the center of attention. When you make yourself the focal point where everything comes from and returns to. Your own God consciousness in the middle of everything. And then breathe that light into your heart, and from your heart with the exhale into your whole body, as if you wanted to illuminate each and every cell. And with that felt experience, I invite you to slowly again open your eyes and come back into the space. So, and how far do you feel being the main character of your own story? And maybe also in this small introductory guided check in. How do you feel when you make yourself center of attention? Because what most of us have learned is that being center of attention is something that we shouldn't do, that maybe even shameful, that being center of attention, wanting more, needing more, or yeah, being very outward with your expression or with your emotions, wanting attention, that all of that maybe in your childhood be not seen as very healthy or even be punished. And when we have experiences as a child is quite naturally very bubbly and very outgoing, and actually is at the very beginning very dependent on the caretakers. When at some point and repeatedly something like this bubbly face is suppressed or shut down or punished, that we feel like it is not safe to be center of attention, that it is somehow wrong to be center of the attention, and that we should rather be in service to others. And here comes in service to others, also in the sense of maybe past life influences where you have always been in service, yeah, especially if you're here in my field, to all those healers, priestesses, light beings, light workers, fairies, earth angels, light beings, star seeds. Oftentimes we carry these codes and frequencies of being naturally in service to others, to humanity, to this planet, to uplift the frequency. And the more, even so, we are invited to also make ourselves the center of attention. Because as we all know, when we neglect our own self, when we abandon our own needs, we cannot thrive and flourish in our own essence. We cannot really step into our full power. And that in turn actually blocks the full expression of ourselves also being in service to others. So when we make ourselves the main character of our life, actually, we benefit and all others benefit. Because imagine a world where everyone is the center of attention. And actually, from our innate essence, we all are intrinsically center of attention because consciousness is looking through us, through each and every one of us. So each and every one of us is one vessel, one form where consciousness can experience itself in this world, in a felt, lived experience. So intrinsically, we all are center of attention, but it is something different if you really have it internalized into your being, that you have internalized, I'm one fractal of the truth. I'm one fractal being of consciousness experiencing itself through me. And naturally, it is center of attention here. And all others are also center of attention that can coexist. Because it doesn't mean if you make yourself center of attention that others are not center stage. From your perspective, maybe, because they kind of like play now the side characters and the activations, the triggers, the catalysts in your story. But from their perspective, if they have also put themselves into the main character energy, they are the center of attention too. So we all are center of attention. And if we bring it down together, we are whole as a fractal beings, they are scattered everywhere. When we put that together, all are center of attention for consciousness to experience itself. And that's a higher level of looking at it. But what lies beneath and what is more tangible in your felt experiences is probably how I started, that maybe you have some subconscious belief that it is not healthy, egoistic, selfish, maybe even scary or maybe fearful, not your comfort zone, to be in the field of everyone. Like, I mean, to be really standing on the stage, standing on the stage, to be on the stage of your life. Because sometimes maybe you are rather feeling very comfortable being in the background of your life, being backstage. But your life, your soul invited you as a human being to stand on that stage and to reclaim that stage again. Being side character is fine, is nice, and may be part of your journey. But truly fulfilling is if you make yourself the focal point of your life story. So the subconscious beliefs of it is selfish or egoistic or I have to heal others, help others, whatever beliefs you have, this is the first step actually to find out, is that what you currently live truly in alignment with being the main character of your story? Or do you play the side characters of people pleasing, of overly helping, overextending, over loving, over you name it for others? Because maybe short-term benefit is there, but long-term you will be depleted. Energetically, it is draining to make yourself always a side character. And even very deep down, if someone loves you truly for who you are, they want you to be on the stage of your life. They want to applaud for your bravery to be on that stage. And even if you fall down off the stage, to come back on the stage. Those people, these are the people who want to see you rise. You want to see you in your power. Who want to see your gifts coming online again. We have all somehow collectively played so many side characters. It is time now to reclaim that stage, to come on your life stage, main character energy. And what really helps, not only looking at your beliefs and probably these beliefs that come from the past, to look at your past and heal whatever ever there is, to affirm to yourself it is safe to be the main character. It is not selfish or egoistic or needy or whatever, is in your mind or subconscious, that you put yourself first, that you put your needs, your desires, your dreams first above all else. That doesn't mean to like go elbowing around the world, of course not, but to always prioritize your innate wisdom and intuition of this is my path. And for this path, I need this and that and this. And also to know that because oftentimes we play side character for people, we fear to lose. We fear to lose people, or we maybe even want to attain attention and validation from others. And that's why we play side character roles instead of our main character. But you have to understand at some point, when you play the main character, all others are helpers on your journey, and they are helpers as long as they are helpers in that path, and naturally fall away when their task for your soul is complete. That we have to understand. If their task is complete, that's a spiritual level of seeing it. And I always dive into that. Obviously, as you may know, I always dive into the spiritual dimensions and energetic dimension and the soul level dimension of how your life is unfolding. And if you are the main character, you understand each and every single person on your path, each and every single experience on your path is guiding your soul into the most evolved version of soul expression. Each and every cycle of life, each lifetime, you are evolving in the capacity of your soul to inhabit a body on this planet or different planets or other forms of being, and it explores. It explores, it grows, it sees like, a little bit like a detective exploration. Like, this is when I do this, then my human body moves like this. And each time when we come here, even we have to again learn to walk, although we have learned it in the past life, maybe, It's something we redo also. And to come back to my thread of each person on your life is intrinsically a side character, but you are asked to also see them as side characters and see also that being a side character is not less than being the main character. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, making them a side character doesn't diminish their light or their worth or their power. Actually, it nourishes them and yourself of, this is an important side character person for me to go on my hero's journey. Because hero's journey is a good keyword. Maybe you know this hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, a very, very well-known concept or framework for storylines. And I've even also recorded a podcast episode on it. For stories, how they have this, or the cycle or an arc of the hero going on his journey in his normal world. Then there's an incident or a catalytic experience going on the journey of finding a solution, going through the darkness and the light, and coming out transformed back into the normal world, but as an evolved version very shortly. Yeah, this is a journey, and this journey is also interwoven in your life story, or your soul is on that journey too. And it can only fully be on that journey when you make yourself the main character, the hero of that story, the hero. And if you have maybe a favorite movie or a favorite book, and you can refer to that main character, you can have empathy of that main character. The same you can have for yourself. You are that hero. You are that hero on that journey. That is main character energy. And the side characters are helpers, are catalysts, as I said, and are here to bring you back to your truth, to bring you back to your essence, to bring you back to the connection to the divine, to bring you back to remembrance. That is their task. But if you make side characters more important than yourself, you are giving your energy away. You're giving your power away. You're trying to somehow achieve something, or even manipulate, if it's from a lower vibration, to get something back, or to prove yourself by overgiving, by helping, by being always in service. Yeah, also a little bit sneaky sometimes, a spiritual ego coming in, I want to help, and I'm always here selfless in service, and I give this for free and that for free. At some point you will see this will deplete your energy. Unless you have another one, people pleasing for you and filling your cup. But you may probably know we can only give our full self and be in our full power if we have a full cup ourselves. And how we do that is by filling ourselves first. And that is by nourishing ourselves first. And if you have already the connection to your soul and the divine, it's actually inviting the light in. That's abundant, in abundance, no matter how you are, like financially or in your environment, or how you feel. Abundance comes from there, from your connection. Inviting that in, nourishing yourself, making yourself a priority. Also, same with dreams. Some people leave their dreams behind, or put them on the shelf, or have them maybe written down in a bucket list book, journal them out, or dream about that in their mind, visualize them, have everything around it, but don't put them in action because they feel they are not allowed or cannot, because of outer circumstances, because of XYZ. Sometimes it's a sabotaging mechanism. Sometimes it's just also a way the soul has compressed you into a situation that seemingly is impossible to solve, for you to actually break limitations. Because limitations are always ego, are always not ourself, are always just put in place here in the matrix to keep you small. Yeah. And the soul is on that journey, of the hero's journey, of breaking free from all these limitations you currently feel. And for this, you have to step in your main character energy and activate your soul's gifts. I really feel like, and I mentioned that often, actually, seeing this life as a game, and sometimes also for me, it's difficult to see if I have like really, really struggles. I'm also human, obviously. But if we see it from a playful perspective, it's really like you have been equipped with exactly the soul gifts and powers and codes, and receive the activations and initiations on your path that you need to break free from the limitations your soul has set for yourself. Yeah, it's kind of like, as a soul, yeah, before you incarnate, I want to explore this and that. And for this, I need these and these environments and these people and these and these. Yeah, it's really like in the movie, like the location scout is looking for locations. The character designers are drawing the character design, and the script writer is somehow putting in the scenes how everything evolves. Yeah, same, same with us. And sometimes we lose track of it because we are so stuck in some mind games, patterns, loops, structures interwoven in weird constellations with karmic people. But even karmic people are also side characters to teach you a lesson, obviously, that we lose track of that. Yeah. So being the main character is always, each and every day, almost a remembrance, reminding yourself. And maybe that's some part or can be part of your main, yeah, your daily habit or daily routines, daily rituals, to have something or even a symbol. I like also to externalize it, to have a symbol, what signifies for you, reminding yourself of being the main character. Maybe you have a favorite movie hero, and that's maybe one figure or an image, or maybe yourself, yeah, a photo of yourself, or any symbol you associate with, this is me and my main character energy, and put it somewhere where you see it, where you walk past regularly, so that you are primed, that you are reminding yourself, back into main character energy. Yeah, that you remind yourself back into main character energy, or check in with yourself. Am I now in my main character energy or my side character energy? And that is so easy to drop again in the side character energy, especially if you have operated in the side character energy for a long time, because it has obviously, yeah, densified in your system as a pattern, as a habit, as your identity. So this needs to be loosened first, so you can actually breathe again as that main hero. Also, the hero would always try, I would argue, to really see, how can I activate my power within so I can overcome the challenges I have on my path. Transfer to us the power that lies inside of you. Sometimes we forget how powerful we are and how powerful our innate gifts are and talents. For some, it may be something very like normal in their eyes, but for you, maybe it's something so needed on your soul path. And oftentimes we have that already discovered in childhood, but at some point we were conditioned out of it. So rediscover that, rediscover what are your powers, your superpowers, your superpowers for your own soul path. That's an invitation too here, to rediscover that. Because if you stay even in a main character energy without activating your superpowers, at some point it's just a circle. It's just a looping. Main character energy doesn't stop. It's first of all to put yourself again in the main character energy, but then to evolve from that to really be the hero. And actually, if you see humanity, people who have claimed their main character energy have become very powerful influences. Maybe you have some in mind now. I won't mention any, but people who have claimed to be center stage, who be on the stage. And that doesn't mean even only to be alone on the stage. Side note here, because in our time quality, it's also a lot about cooperation and community. To make a community energy all stand on the same stage. But all these people who have main character energy is where we look up to, where we even are influenced by stronger than someone who is just playing a side character. Because we feel, we sense their power, even when they don't, yeah, speak it out loud, like, I'm the main character. They won't say that. It's their energy they embody. The energy they embody. So main character energy is not just a decision, but also a vibration or an energy, and then an embodiment of that truth. Decision, energy, vibration, embodiment. The decision is first of all to switch from side characters into really reclaiming your main role here in your life story. The energy vibration aspect is to feel it, sense it, vibrate in your cells, activate it on DNA level, so to say. And the third level is then, because energetic vibration is more internally, the embodiment part is then the external world. And when we step into the embodiment of that, we emit that frequency for others to feel us and also to activate remembrance within them. I'm coming back to the question. Thank you so much. I'm just finishing my thoughts. And if you feel into like the main character energy people on stage, if they have a not lower vibration, but like a lower vibrational intention, they have power over the people. If another one is also in their main character energy and comes from a higher vibrational intention, also have power. Both have power. And people follow where they sense that main character energy more from. And we have that split in humanity. The darkness and the light, always, always. So your soul is invited to also make that choice, or maybe has already made that choice before incarnation. If I'm the main character, I have power, and a lot of us have fear. What happens when we are truly in our power? What happens? Because you have responsibility. In a way, you have responsibility. People may really follow you because they feel something inside of you. Yeah, hope, admiration, whatever. Then it's also again of you like shedding ego layers of not seeing it as a, you are better than others kind of thing, but seeing as your responsibility. Okay, I use now my power for the benefit of humanity, and then we are in service to others, really truly in service, and not service by over giving or over depleting ourselves, but truly in service to the truth. Usually love, harmony, communion, back to our true nature. So you see, the journey is actually first to come into your own power, and that's obviously a continued journey. But to step into your power, to activate your gifts and talents, and to use these gifts and talents that have been given to you to be on that stage and then to be in service. Automatically, even you will be in service because you feel your power and you feel like, wow, everyone has to kind of know this power, and I want for others to activate that power. I want others to be their main character again. That automatically comes. That automatically comes with you stepping on the stage again. It's you stepping on the stage, or multiple people stepping on the stage and bringing the others on the stage too. Main character energy is not I'm on the stage and you are in the audience. And what happens then, maybe you notice the switch. What happens then is that main character and side characters all become main characters. They already are, but the energetic field shifts and they become kind of like an energetic vortex of main character energy, which is collective power. Collective power. So maybe you notice it is actually sometimes more selfish to always overgive, overextend, not be paying attention to your own needs and desires and dreams, because your dreams, your desires intrinsically bear service for the collective. And you came not here to suffer for others, because I know this is also one pattern we have collectively in the priestess, helper, healer roles. Somehow that we had to suffer for others, that we had to sacrifice in other lifetimes, that we had to sacrifice ourselves for humanity. And that's done. That's not in this lifetime, not in this time quality. Only if you choose. But that won't, in the long run, will help you in the sense of coming into your true power. Where from the true power, as I just elaborated on, where from the true power you actually can help much better. And yeah, in a way, all comes down to beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What runs in the background? The fear of stepping on stage, the fear of being in power. Because also what inside of many of us is still, if you're in power, it is dangerous. If you're in power, it's often manipulated, or you may have had a past life where you have been in power and you have misused that power. So many stories can be inside of you in your system. That's very individual. I'm just mentioning some examples. But how multidimensional the topic is actually. Not to be in main character energy, but in side character energy. And yes, mentioned in the comments here, to perform. Yes, it's not about performance, it's about coming back to your true, authentic self. And oftentimes, also in childhood, we have learned to adapt and accommodate to the needs of others. So we get love, attention, maybe even nourishment, very little children who are dependent on the nourishment. So we kind of shapeshift, we become little shapeshifters to fit in. And that needs to unravel again. Who am I truly? That is at some point the question. And then performance can be a playful art that can be still there, but you know what is your truth. So first find your truth, and then you can play with performing or exploring different identities. I've already also mentioned that in another satsang, I guess. But performance is always away from your truth, from a true essence. It's a layer on top. It's a mask or a role on top, not your essential role. I mean, as a human being, we somehow always play a role, I feel, and we always have some form of identity. But the truest form is when you know your essence, when you know your energetic blueprint, and when you have aligned over time more and more. And it's also a continued journey with that essence and blueprint. Why we seek actually validation may be because we have not found our true essence, because we have not anchored the love of ourselves inside of us. Not the love for ourselves only, but actually the love that is always accessible from the divine. And that brings me back actually to the very spiritual concept of spirituality. I mean, we are always spiritual, everything is in a sense spiritual, but all spiritual paths, in a way, for me at least, point back to the sense of reconnecting, remembering your true essence, which is a divine. You're equal to it. It runs through you. And it intrinsically bears the love I have even no words for, and my words even stumble for it. Yeah. This is not even be put in words. And if you have experienced that, and if you have anchored that in yourself, you know you don't have to even prove anything or perform, because you're loved exactly as you are. Love is what you are. It's not outsourced. If we perform, if we try to seek validation, if we try to whatever gain, through being someone else, it's outsourcing. It's outsourcing your power again. It's outsourcing your energy. And we clearly see, and I'm coming back to the cycle of people who have claimed their main character role, we feel and see something is different with them. And sometimes we may even be triggered into jealousy, or we be triggered into where we lie to ourselves, where we still play the side character role. Because they have mastered themselves. They have remembered their truth. And if you are here now in that space, at some point in some time, and you get inspired by that, or even if you're listening to these words, there's already something in your field that you are meant to step more into your main character role again. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here in this field now, receiving these messages. I'm just a messenger. I'm the side character in your role, in your play, in your game, in your story. I'm the side character right now. Yeah, see that. My words are just a form that channels words that you are meant to receive. Always. And also the other people in your life. And even those people you make yourself the side character for, where you put them on the pedestal and see like, this is my main character. Yeah. Also here, the side note for your mother in the comments. If you put her on a pedestal, or anyone, for everyone here, if you put anyone on the pedestal, you make yourself again the side character. But your mother has been the vessel for you to come through so that you can put yourself in the main character role. The feminine is the birthing channel. And the mother is the form, the vessel through which consciousness can be birthed into this world. It's one sacred role of the feminine. It's one sacred role of the feminine. But we are all born main character. We are all born main character. And attachment is always also a form of giving someone else power over you. No matter how close you are, no matter how much love there is between you. Again, you outsource your energy, your power. Especially if it's not reciprocated, if it's not a give and take and a balance, then it depletes you at some point. Even sometimes without knowing it. Even sometimes over years. Even sometimes when the person has passed, I'm like, still there's something lingering in the background. But for me, I mean, if I would be giving birth to a child, I would love that child to be, play your game. This is your game to play. Whatever your soul wanted to experience, this I give to you. My body is a gift. My body is a form for you as a gift, so you can experience yourself, the soul, right? Soul connection, the soul to have that experience in this human body. An exhale for this. But attachment is the same. I put it in the same category like validation, attention. It's all outside. A signal outside. Main character energy. Bring the spotlight to yourself. Bring the spotlight to yourself. And maybe this is an invitation for a week or a month or 28 days or whatever time frame you want to gift yourself, to really try, okay, for these days or for this amount of time, I'm putting myself on the center stage. I'm putting myself first this week. And it will be probably challenging in the beginning, especially if you've put yourself backstage for a long time. The more you have played a side character role, the more challenging it becomes, and maybe the more you want to frame it a little bit shorter so your nervous system can adapt. But make it a habit to have these mini challenges, if you want to call it like this, or mini invitations for you to really see what actually happens if you play the main character role. Because what happens actually is, if we don't even try, if we don't even have tried that out to be a main character in our in our storyline, we don't even know. We don't know what happens. All is just in our mind, like, if I do this and if I put myself first, it's so selfish. And then it's again the mind and the belief system running on autopilot before you have even tried something out or put something in practice. Yeah, so this invitation is really, what if you have this whole week now, make it yours, just yours. You are the main character. What would the main character do? What powers lie within you that still need activation and reanimation, or you want to explore within yourself? Yeah? This main character inside of you is waiting for you, for your little you. Yeah, it has always been there, but your little self, this compressed identity of ego self that pushes this main character down or has storylines why it is not healthy or selfish. Your main character is waiting. It's bubbling under the surface. It's waiting for you to say, okay, now I give you space and time and I explore that. And then see how you feel. And maybe that will be uncomfortable in the beginning because you're not used to it. Your nervous system is much more used to and therefore much more comfortable by playing a side character role, or by not putting yourself first, or by compromising. That's another keyword, compromising. Yeah, to compromise. Sometimes actually we don't have to compromise with someone, but see what third solution is there that fulfills both of our needs. We sometimes have this image of, these are my needs, these are their needs, and then I have to compromise and they have to compromise to find a solution so we both are half satisfied. And that works sometimes and may sometimes be the solution, but maybe the solution is also just to see, okay, I have these needs, and these are my solution options, these are my solution options. We cannot really agree on that. What third option is still in the quantum field, lingering around us? And we just have to open our mind and our heart to see, there's a third option we haven't thought of, and that actually fulfills both of our needs, or maybe even fulfills both of our needs much more than we thought. So compromising is not always a solution. If you play the main character role, not elbowing, but being smart to see solutions are in the quantum field. You have to make yourself available for it by stepping back from your little self, your ego, and your limiting belief system. And sometimes that may need some days to digest. Yeah, sometimes if we're too much in our head or too much in emotions, resistance, wanting to find a solution, sometimes that blocks the flow of new solutions coming in. So, main character energy will give you energy. Side character energy in the long run or even midterm run will deplete you in a way because you make others the center stage. You are the sun of your own universe. Consciousness is inside of you, looking through you, and everything around you is a projection. Same, everyone else is their sun, their galaxies, their part of consciousness that is mirrored inside of you, manifesting reality as a projection. And maybe that invitation is really something you want to write down. To try that out. What happens? What happens when I put myself first? And that sometimes needs a little bit also of training your communication, maybe. Because sometimes it's not that you express your needs or desires to someone else, but how you express it and your energy in which you express it. Because if someone truly loves you, respects you, wants to see you glow, and wants to see you in your power, they will understand what you need if you explain it to them. It's not like, I don't know, they don't understand me, I'm just going in my room, I'm not talking at all. Explain yourself what you need, and maybe also what it would mean for you if the other person understands you. Because we want to understand each other, especially if it's a close person. We want to understand each other, but that needs always communication. That needs communication. And sometimes then it may be a practice for you also to communicate in a way that makes you feel seen and heard, because we want to be felt, sensed, heard, and seen. And that is part of main character energy. Because also for each and every one of us, main character energy in some form means a slightly different thing. Some see really each other, oneself like, I know this main character of this in this movie, and I'm exactly that one. If I could choose, I would be exactly that one. And some is like, yeah, I have my little stage, and I'm just in my in my yogic whatever environment, and I'm inviting everyone to sit with me on that stage, and still I can be the main character. And then comes it back to what I shared, to bringing the others on the same stage and inviting them also to be the main character. Yeah. So maybe there's a misconception that if you are the main character, no one else can be the main character. And maybe that's also a paradox. All right. Question. So, yes, guilt. Another good keyword. Feeling guilty when we make ourselves the main character. Guilt is oftentimes tied to doing something wrong. Yeah, as if we would do something wrong if we put ourselves first, or if we step into the center stage. Guilt, shame, both somehow a little bit interwoven. But again, if someone, at least from my perspective, if someone truly loves you, do they not want to have you happy and healthy and joyful and playful and in your highest expression? Because what we also have to understand, if you put yourself the main character, and that refers a little bit to having multiple main characters in this whole, not in your story, but in this whole game, that if you make yourself the main character, it doesn't take something away from someone else. It doesn't diminish the light of someone else. It doesn't make someone else smaller. It's just your perspective, your approach of how you navigate through your life to see yourself as a main character, because it facilitates to really come into your power, to activate your gifts, to your soul, from a soul level. Always and again, from a soul level, the soul is here to expand. The soul is here to learn, grow, expand. And for that, it in some form needs main character energy at some point. At some point, it needs it. And confidence, strength, purpose, all of that is part of, if you make that decision, even if you don't know how, because the how is up to the universe always. If you make the decision, okay, now I'm stepping each day more and more into my main character energy, having this stepping forward energy. For some, it may work from now on, I'm main character. For some, it works. For some, it may be more graceful for the nervous system. Each day, I'm stepping more and more into that energy. Each day, I'm stepping more and more in. I remind myself, I have my whatever picture, symbol of it to remind myself, to make myself a priority. Because others benefit from me being a priority. It's a reframing also a little bit, a reframing of what does it mean? And maybe you want to journal about it. What does it mean to be main character of my story? And you can frame it in the way that you feel is compassionate also for others and include somehow the others, but not by overextending yourself and making yourself more the side character, but by inviting them into the field. Yeah, and confidence, I would argue each and everyone is intrinsically confident, but it has been conditioned in another way. Confidence for me is going after your soul path. And for that, you have to be anchored so much in your own self-love and truth and connected to your own essence and soul that no one and nothing can hold you back. And sometimes that also means still staying anchored, although something outside of you falls apart, because from experience, things will fall apart, but you are asked to stay here no matter what. Because your soul sometimes orchestrates that, not to test you, but to strengthen that inner rootedness inside of yourself. To not look outside, but to come back inside. And all these, flavors of validation, guilt, shame, overgiving, people pleasing, as you feel, even maybe, it's all the outside. It's all in interaction with someone else or outside. But the other person, from a spiritual lens again, it's you, just in another body. I know this is for the human mind sometimes very, very hard to grasp, but it's you. It's a mirror of you. It's the mirror through another form of the same consciousness that you inhabit, that inhabits you. Yeah, the same consciousness looks back at you. It looks into itself. And guilt, shame, all of it, it's the little self, the ego structured self, this mechanism that has been imprinted on us through the collective, through society, through the matrix, through the structure, the system. That's not the truth. Not the truth. Yes. So, another question. What if we never accomplish our principal part or role in this life? How do we account for that failure? Sometimes we may not develop that courage in this lifetime. Fear and doubt, so powerful. Good question. Really, I love that question. First of all, there's no failure at all. Never. Never mistake, never problem, never failure. Also a false program running. The soul. I invite you always and again to come back to your soul level. The soul doesn't think in these terms. The soul doesn't see mistakes or failures. It just sees growth, experience. Ah, interesting. Oh, interesting. If my human self does this, it goes in this direction. If it does it like this, it goes in this direction. It's more the curiosity of this sort of exploration. But yes, as a human self, we sometimes have these creeping, lingering doubts and fears that hold us back. But why are they there? Again, coming back to our conditioning, our past lives, societal constructs, traditions, norms, religions, influences. Again, all outside noise that internalize at some point and that invites you for awareness what you believe in. You have the power to believe in what you want. And what you believe in will mirror back in outside of you. So if you believe it's a failure, maybe that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, so that your human self is triggered back into like outer circumstances that kind of prove okay, this is somehow a failure. But if you decide, no, actually, this my first impulse may be, okay, this is a failure, to reframe immediately, to catch yourself and say, like, no, actually, what is the benefit of I have gone through this, or yeah, whatever life circumstance, and Prince role in part, in a way, I can say you always play your main part. But what I'm inviting you to do is to more consciously see yourself as this principal part or role. To make it a conscious choice, because what happens then is that you align much more easily and your purpose will flow much more directly, and you will have less detours on your path. And even, I mean, yeah, even I can say that too. If you feel like, I'm always playing side character and I'm missing my point, then that's your reality that you choose. It's always a choice. And also here, there may be a paradox. Paradox is kind of like a law of life, even. Yeah, where we can even argue, okay, yes, I can also say from another perspective, maybe your soul chose the first part of your life or a certain phase of your life to always play side character, to see how this is, how this feels, to actually have the contrast. That's very often the case. We experience the contrast of what we actually want to manifest. So it first experiences the contrast of what you want to attract, which is the main character in this example. So maybe there's a phase. You always side character rolling. A lot of people have that phase, I would argue. And then comes this, actually, I've always played a side character. Am I not the main character in this role play? Yeah. There comes this reflection time. The reflection time is the threshold. And maybe right now here, if you're listening to this, you are already on this threshold, or it's an invitation to go a step further and to see, how can I switch the story script? Same we had last time a little bit, yeah, where you flip the script and make the past not influence you, but make it benefit you, make it in favor of you, flavor it in a very nice flavor. You feel, this is tasteful. So you can journey forward in much more empowerment. Another keyword, empowerment. If you make yourself the main character, you are empowered. You feel empowered. It's a different frequency you feel. Fear and doubt are the ego telling stories. We have always, and then we have the soul, very soft, humming. I had that also in one transmission, I remember, where the noise of the ego is screaming oftentimes at us, while the soul is always like a background humming. And you have to fine-tune you calibrate your inner being to not really ignore the screaming of your ego, but stop it from interfering in your life, from ruling your life. And fine-tuning yourself more to listen to the humming of your soul. And at some point, even though your ego may scream and scream and scream and scream, and then we are back to the ego death at some point, it may even scream louder, that you make your soul bigger and the humming becomes louder and your ego will surrender. And maybe the humming of your soul will merge with the screaming of your ego, or the one screaming of your ego that has surrendered. And then, what I always repeat also, your soul can breathe again. And then sometimes I feel life actually starts. Yeah, life starts anew in a way. A newborn life starts. Because you have stopped listening to the small ego that keeps you inside characters. You have started listening to or fine-tuning to the humming of your soul that always wanted to be the main character of your story. That's, I think, a good finishing line for today. And I hope that you have a lot of activations, cues, codes, lines, maybe words of this transmission to look deeper inside of you and maybe really to sit down. What does it mean to be a main character of your story? What does it mean? What would this main character look like, feel like, journey through each day? What habits, yeah, shape your character, main character? And then to act from it for a few days, for a month, however long you set yourself, and see what happens. Without that experience, it's just a mind game. It's just an anticipation, what could happen, or what your imagination says, what would happen if you would be the main character. And also, again, as a reminder, this, whatever you have, maybe an image or a symbol or a little statue or figure of what represents this main character energy of you. Yeah, to make that your, yeah, new normal, in a way, your new normal. Because what also happens if you are finally stepping in your main character role, it will be your new normal. You won't question it anymore. Now it feels maybe so far away, like, oh, where's my main character? But once you're in there, everything will feel just normal, and your new baseline. Yeah, your new baseline. So happy journeying in your main character energy. If you feel like, I would love to hear how it goes, how it flows. If you do that and try that out for yourself, leave it in the replay comments, so that even maybe your main character energy can anchor even more into this reality. So put yourself on stage, and see you next time in the next transmission. Much love and bliss, as always.